And Dr. Tell me about, because I know initially churches are supposed to have a certain sort of, what do they call their doctrine? How does a new church come up with doctrine? Even as you go to get registered, how do you identify what your doctrine is and how do you teach it? Is there a way that through the theological schools people can be taught about that, or they are being taught about that, but also the foundation of that? Where does it start?
I wanted to begin by saying that a society without a proper religion to moderate its morality is a decaying society. And there is something we call poverty of the mind. Poverty of the mind has nothing to do whether you went to school or not. So when you have poverty of the mind, and then you have again poverty-related, the normal material poverty-related mentality combined together, you will require a proper background for you to grow up. Okay, how is there a way that we are able to understand the proper doctrine? Yes, the church was brought in this part of the world with the missionaries. And the missionaries laid foundation of different churches. And in most cases, what missionaries laid down was too scriptural. They began from the script. For example, the church where I belong, it started from three areas. We started from the school, health, and then the scripture. Holistic man. The right theology will tell you that a man, an all-round man, must be holistic, mind, spirit, and soul. And that will determine which church you go to. That brings me to a question of all of you who are standing here, who are seated here, if you went to Sunday school. If you went to Sunday school, you determine which Sunday school did you go. If you went to Sunday school, you are taught who is God, who is the creator, why were you created, and what you are created for what? What are you supposed to do as a child of God? That alone gives that child a foundation. So as the child grows and learns about spirituality and Christianity, he understands why he was created. But these people are taking advantage of specific churches in that particular community.
Right.
And so again, I agree with my colleagues here. That's why we need to find out, is there something can we regulate ourselves as a church so that we understand what kind of religion, what kind of training is in that Sunday school? Because if the training of that Sunday school child is not structured, scriptural, and is cultic.
So when you say regulate yourselves as the church, are you talking about your denomination, PCEA, or are you talking...
As a church, I mean, the church is structured in different bodies. For sure, there is nobody who will be left in the air to do what he wants as per his culture and his mindset and bring his tradition and call it a church. The church is structured in organization. We have the Church National Council of Churches, which is about 32 member churches, 7 million people. If you are there, there are standards put across. There are standards within we operate in. There is leadership structure. There is how we cooperate together, how we coexist together on specific standards of life. What are the values?
So for those that are not members of NCCK,
those are the members of
KCCB or EKK.
They'll be members of KCCB. Or if they are not members of KCCB, we have a way that we can look at it and say, these are the standards of faith. The standards of faith as this. And then what we call a cult, we understand cultic behavior than any other person who is not a theologian. A cult is anybody who speaks the scripture through an individual, but not from the right scriptural perspective.
That's what I'm asking. For an organization like what Paul Mackenzie was leading, how now do you get that regulated in the structures we have currently?
It can be regulated so long as already he has to be registered with under the societies.
If not?
If not, then we need to come up with a structure. That's why my colleague from Yeri said, we need to come up with a structure and tell me, if you are not registered, then where are you? If you belong to Kenya, then you must rank under the Constitution. The Constitution must have an area where we say, every church must rank under these particular rules. But if you give me a leeway, then any crook will come up and do anything he wants. And that's why I agree.